Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties out the ass. So the original live that I had set up for who knows what reason uh is not playing. And I don't get it. But we here. I'm gonna have to go through and repost this, so give me a minute. Because it's gonna take some time. Let me get this thing reposted. For the current live that we are now in, what happens if I turn it that way? Alright, cool. I guess we're gonna have it like this. This is not the way that I would prefer for it to be. No, that's not what I want. Don't need that. Give me a moment. I'm just setting everything up here. For some reason, YouTube did away with my initial live and what it was supposed to be. And I'm making sure my notes saved. Both of my phones are actually linked up. So since my phones are linked up, my notes should actually be on this phone as well. Damn, I don't think they are. Ain't this a bitch? Well, it is what it is. How is everybody this evening? All right, so the subject for tonight is actually why is love considered slavery? For a lot of people, you probably don't understand what it is or what it is that I'm saying, but when did love become slavery? First and foremost, let me preface this with everything that I'm speaking on is just based off of some topics that actually came up recently. And what has actually recently came up, it was talking about dating, relationships. I know this is what everybody wants to talk about nowadays, dating and relationships, but the biggest one is marriage. Okay, what is marriage? Why is marriage declining? Where was marriage, where did marriage used to be, as opposed to where marriage is at today. Those are the biggest things, the biggest subjects, the biggest topics, the biggest conversation pieces that are out there. And there's a reason. The reason behind that is because as time goes on, we are getting further and further away from our truth. We are getting further away from who we are as people. We are getting further and further away from what we used to do, what this country was found, not just this country, but everything that we do in the world that we live in today was founded upon marriage and the way marriage used to be and the way that marriage currently is today. Or in this case, the lack of marriage. Because marriage is something that people no longer want to participate in. Marriage is no longer looked upon as something that people want to be a part of. People no longer want to be a part of marriage. People no longer want to be a part of love. People no longer want to be a part of what we are designed and what we are created for. We were meant to be here and be together. We're not meant to sit here and say, I don't need man and I don't need woman. Okay? That is not why we are here. It is not where we come from. It is not where we are derived from. It is not where we're supposed to be at. So the actual picture that was depicted on here was this one here, where it says 30 million slaves in the world today. There are 30 million slaves in the world today. I thought he loved me. Right? This always has a way of being transposed as it's the man's fault. Okay? It is always fixed where the man has done something wrong. All right? A lot of the things that you guys hear me say are always aimed at why are we constantly, what are we the constant rhetoric, the constant thing that is thrown out nowadays is man this and man that, and man is no good. And no one is questioning why the role of a man is constantly under fire. Why is the role of a man forever under fire? Why are we downplaying men? Why are we downplaying the role that men play as fathers, as husbands, as sons, as uncles, as grandfathers? It is forever downplayed as if a man can do nothing wrong. Only in the United States of America do we look at men. If a man is anywhere close to a park, he automatically becomes a pedophile. If a man is automatically seen at night, he's a rapist or he's a woman snatcher or a kidnapper of some sort, whereas the man can never be seen in a positive light. Okay? Before I actually get into the marriage aspect, I'm going to start this in reverse. Okay? I'm going to start this at divorce. All right, so statistics currently right now, 34% of adults aged 15 and over had never been married, which is up from 23% back in 1950. Okay. Currently, divorce rates are at 6.1 per 1,000 people. That is what we have declined down to. 6.1 out of 1,000. That is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Now, a woman's happiness comes from a derivative of marriage. But I'm going to go over some other statistics real quick. Okay. Divorce rate. I got my tablet. So I came ready for motherfuckers tonight. So I had everything in here set up and ready to go. Divorce is at an all-time high. Some sad and horrible statistics that are out there are women divorce men at a rate of 70% on the fact of incompatibility and or finances. Okay, these are actual stats. These are reasons for divorce. Okay, women with an education divorce at the rate of 90%. So 70% just period are women divorcing men, and 90% are women with education. Why? Because they feel as if they are being held back. Money has overpowered whether or not you are happy in a relationship. Money is the new structure of happiness, right? Lack of incompatibility. 43% of the divorces are incompatibility. They are incompatible. The average divorce happens in 7 years or under. So we're at a time where people don't get married until they've been together for 5, 6, and 7 years. 5, 6, 7 years. And then all of a sudden, you guys are incompatible after you get married, which lets me know that people are getting married for the wrong reasons. You guys are marrying for the wrong reasons. Okay. Infidelity. You know, the infidelity is only 28% of divorces. And an astonishing 5.8% is due to domestic violence and or addiction. So, for my female viewers, the ones that are usually the first ones to talk shit and to sit here and say that they're not going to get married or they don't want to be married because they don't want to get beat on, or it's because of money, or he's a drug addict, or he's a deadbeat. Guess what? That is 5.3% of the divorce rate. So unfortunately, men are not out here beating on women the way they say in these marriages. Okay. Now, where did this entire conversation come from? This entire conversation came from the fact that on TikTok, probably 30 different videos that I saw of where women were saying the reason they don't want to be married or be with someone is because it is modern day slavery. So I figured I would break this down and look at the statistics of the world and then see where marriage becomes a modern day slavery. And they say it's modern day slavery is because they're cooking for you, they are cleaning for you, they are taking care of your kids, doing your laundry. All right. So I have a question literally for everyone. If you are in a relationship, if you are married, if you are part of the current society, are you currently doing laundry? Are you currently cooking? Are you currently cleaning? Are you currently picking up after children? Because, you know, at this point in time, when you are adult, 30s, 40 years old, regardless, you now have children. Older children children that you have to deal with on a regular basis. You've been dealing with them for some time. Okay. Well, let's look at it this dynamic. We are at an all-time high of single mothers, single parent households. At this point in time, you have to work, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do laundry. Well, let me explain to you what that is. That is called slavery. You have to do everything. Everything. See, what's wrong with the things that are being said is that they really make zero sense whatsoever. And you know why it doesn't make sense? It doesn't make sense for the simple fact that the same things that you're complaining about that you potentially will be doing for a man are the exact same things that you're already doing. You're already doing it, whether you like it or not. You are doing 100% of the work because you have to pay 100% of the bills. You have to pay 100% of what it takes to take care of your children, if you have children. So it is not slavery, because it's funny. You will do it for your kids, you know, the little boys that you call kings, but aren't being raised to be kings, and the little girls that you're calling queens, but again, aren't raised to be queens. We are creating the next generation of single parents that do absolutely nothing for the opposite sex in order to be compatible, in order to be happy, in order to fall in love. So we're going to take this back to marriage. Let's just go back 100 years ago. See, 100 years ago in marriage, there were roles, and everybody was happy with their roles. But this is the funny part. The divorce rate at that point in time was like 7%. Yeah, 100 years ago, the divorce rate was sub 7%. And you know the craziest part about it? When they got married back then, mom and dad went to other mom and dad, and they pretty much said, all right, we are going to make sure that our bloodlines live on, and we continue this prosperity, and we continue this greatness that we're doing. And this is not just kings and queens. These are also the peasants, you know, because they were trading chickens. You know, the cheapest thing on the earth to have is a fucking chicken. They were trading chickens for their sons and daughters in order to be married, in order to join each other in this thing called marriage. You get to date right now, but they didn't. They got married, then dated, then had children, then fell in love. And those marriages lasted way longer than what marriages currently last today, where you get to choose who you want to be with, date them, marry them, and then have children. But it's not even going that way. Nowadays, it's date them, have children, and never get married. And then blame society, blame men, blame women for why we're not doing what our ancestors clearly did, and did very well, and no one complained about there being slavery. It wasn't slavery. Why is love now considered slavery? 100 years ago, did they marry for happiness? No, they created their happiness. 100 years ago, did they marry for love? No, they created love. There's one common denominator that has been lost nowadays. Like everything that I do in my life personally, I do it for my children. My last name. My children have my last name. My children have my last name. I need them to be better than who I am. In order for my children to be better than who I am, I have to teach them to do better than me. I am 42, unmarried. I will be married for life. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I require a woman to be of a certain standard, certain way, and be exactly what I need them to be, not only for me, but for my children, because there is a standard that has to be put in place, which means that I, as a man, have to hold myself to a certain standard to even get to that point. If I can't get to that point, what am I doing? I am not doing that in which I am choosing to do in order to make a better situation for my last name. People got married for that reason and that reason alone, and that's why they stayed together, because your last name meant more than anything else in this world. And that stood true literally until 1950. Now, between 1950 and 2020, everything has literally turned upside down. Divorce rates have tripled. We have created a world of equality, which I'm all for equality. But the problem with it is it's not actually equal. I don't care what you say. There is a reason the divorce rate is so high and the marriage rate is so low. You literally only have about 34% of the world getting married nowadays. 34%, and it is declining. Women are getting married around the average age of 30, and men are getting married at the average age of 27. Men are still getting married at a younger age than women are. That should tell you something. But you know what else has also changed in the world? For every one man that has a child, 7 women have children. For every one man that has a child, 7 women are having children. There are very few things that a woman could give to a man. One of those things was sex, promiscuity, being a virgin, being a woman that other people held to a higher standard because of the standard that she kept herself at. Now, in this process, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out. Misogynist. Now you're just being a misogynist. Now you're just being this. Now you're hating on women. Women are supposed to be this. Why can't women do what men do? Cool. I mean, no one's saying that you can't. But if you're going to do that, see, if you ask a man what his body count is, 9 times out of 10, he's going to tell you. You ask a woman what her body count is, you're going to not tell or lie about it, because you know that your worth to a man is promiscuity. There's a reason sneaky links came from women, not men. There's a reason they call them sneaky links, because you don't want people to know your business. You don't want people to know that you're getting hit on the low by multiple people. You want a sneaky link to continue to be sneaky, because if people truly find out what it is that you did, no man's going to take you serious. So I'm going to give you guys insight, especially for my ladies. Men have 2 rules. We look at you for 2 things, okay? Reason number 1, sex. You all already know that. Reason number 2, wife. You can walk into life, meet a man, and he sees you as wife, but you downgrade yourself to just sex by your actions and the things that you do, and more so the things that you don't do. One of the number 1 complaints in relationships today always seems to go back to cooking and cleaning, and the fact that gender roles no longer exist. Okay, well, if gender roles no longer exist, I won't be a gentleman and put you on the inside away from the street. So when a car jumps the curb, instead of me putting my life on the line for you, I just let you get hit. There's a reason there's women and children first in emergencies. See, my life is cool. I can lose my life. I'm supposed to. Yours is not, because we put life into you and it is your job to nurture life. But see, you guys don't complain about that gender role. We don't complain about the gender role where at the end of the day, I don't care how independent you are, it is the man's job to pay the bills. It doesn't matter how independent you are. If someone were to break in the house, it's the man's job to put his life on the line to protect his family. It's funny how men have to earn submission and wife duties, but you automatically get husband duties from day one. He better pay for dates, open doors for me, protect me, make sure our family is secured, share your resources, and pay these bills. It is amazing how, when it comes to the roles, a man doesn't get a choice in his role. He just better be a man from day one and do manly husband things. But you don't get to be a wife until he has proven himself to you. But we're the ones who ask you to marry us. So technically speaking, you should be proving yourself to us. You're not going to want to hear that, because inherently your entire life you've been told you were beautiful and queen and great and you're amazing and you can't do anything wrong until you hit what we call the wall. When you're about 38 to 45, when beauty is no longer your friend, when sexuality is no longer your friend, when gravity inevitably has hit your body, now you're ready to settle down. Now you for sure want a man and you want to get married, which goes back to then the deserve and I've earned and I'm not going to settle. You've settled actually for a very long time. Woman's happiness. So let me go back to that. Okay. Research has found that stay-at-home mothers are happier than those who go out to work. The survey said that if staying at home with the children were counted as a job, it would rank as having happier workers than any other trade or profession. As we started persuading people we ought to study love, Aaron told Tech Insider, researchers began to find something remarkable. The single biggest predictor of human happiness is the quality of a person's relationship. Arthur Aaron, spelled Aron, has been studying love and human relationships for decades. Now, we have women all over TikTok saying that modern day love is slavery. Slavery. Modern day love is slavery, because you have to cook for your man and clean for your man and do all of these different things, right? So let's go back to the dynamic of what a marriage is, what a marriage should be. In marriage, since the very beginning of time, with or without money involved, the man went out, hunted, brought home the food, went to war, made sure his family stayed safe, built everything up, did all the hard farming, took care of his home. You as the woman did maybe gardening, nurtured the children, which let's talk about nurturing for a hard moment. Because one of the biggest complaints is that a man is supposed to take on half of the brunt work in the home. Okay, cool. We're going to take on half of the work. But see, this is where we then get to another word that is constantly thrown out there, which is toxic masculinity. Because our toxic masculinity is never toxic when we're building homes, creating a power grid infrastructure that allows you to have lights and running water and toilets and all the other stuff. We're never toxic masculine when we are doing things that allow life to be easier, not only for women, but also for men and children and everyone else. We're never toxically masculine. But the moment that a man requires his woman to show some self-control and, cover the body that is supposed to be his because you're his woman, he's toxically masculine. Or if that man doesn't want you having so-called male friends, which we all know the male friends are dudes that either you have fucked in your past, and or he wanted to fuck you, but you friend zoned him. So that's not actually a friendship, because friendships are platonic, which means neither one of you are attracted to each other. But that's never the case. And then not only are we toxically masculine, we're also then insecure. But when you talk about the infidelity thing, women cheat with their male friends. My brother, he's just my brother, my play brother. That's who they end up cheating with. Just proven fact. Those things become toxic masculinity. But see, it's never equal in the exact same realm of the exact same thing that goes on. Because when someone comes to break into the house, I'm not toxically masculine when I'm beating the fuck out of someone or shooting someone. When we're in the club and you're wearing a dress that's too tight that shows off all your shit, and a dude comes by and squeezes your ass, and then I beat his ass for putting his hands on what is supposed to be my woman, but you're out here literally showing off everything that you have to other people. It's basically saying, I'm taken, but I'm going to also still put up that I'm a single sign out there. We're insecure and we're toxically masculine until we're fucking somebody up because you wore the outfit that we told you not to leave the house in the first place. See, with every cause, there is truly an effect. But inequality, it is never actually equal. We call those double standards because, let's just be real. Again, if for every one man having a child, 7 women are having kids, right? You got to then ask yourself why 90% of the female population have children, and this is over the entirety of the world since they've been keeping statistics. 90% of women have had children compared to only 10% of the world, which means that a lot of you guys have been sleeping with the same dude. You've been sharing. But it is also a known fact that 90% of the men walking around you, you don't pay attention to. You pay attention to the ballers. You pay attention to the football players, the basketball players, the drug dealers, the Mr. Pop Your Bottles in the club, the jet setters, people that basically show that they have money, and or they're taller than the rest of the world. Because anything over 6 foot is 3% of the world. Not 3% of the US, but 3% of the world. And of those 3%, the NBA players make up the largest part of the over 6 foot realm. especially when you're talking 6'3" and over. 98% of them are actually in the NBA, and we know that 87% of them are married, but you guys still chase them on a very regular basis. Tristan Thompson, for instance, who literally just got ramrodded for the side chick baby that he made for cheating on Khloe Kardashian. $47,000 a month he must now pay this lady, plus $1 million in legal fees for a side baby. And she knew, and he made it clear in court, she knew I had a wife. Why would she have this child? For one reason and one reason only, to get exactly what she got. She has supposedly $22,000 in bills with zero job. How in the fuck do you have $22,000 in bills with no job? I don't have $22,000 in bills. Good Lord. So, back to the premise. Literally, cooking, cleaning, taking care of kids is slavery. But you do it all by yourself already as a single parent, when you could literally have a man that comes into your home and pays the majority of the bill. Because this is the thing. When a man is a man, like a man is supposed to be, and I know that's going to be your thing, men aren't men anymore. They don't do what they're supposed to. Oh my God, woe is me. No, men are men and they do what they're supposed to, but you don't choose those men, because those men are not the 10% that we're talking about. You go for the upper 10% who don't give a fuck. Okay? The upper 10% that every other chick is also going for. A lot of you are multiple baby mamas to the drug dealer. Okay? And the only reason you're fucking with him is because he's a fucking drug dealer. The only thing that he proved is 9 times out of 10, he carries a gun and can beat somebody's ass, and he can hustle, which to you is, again, safety, security, and a share of resources, because a drug dealer is gladly going to give you a bunch of fucking money to go shopping and do dumb shit with, because, well, he's making a lot of it. And you see that as some sort of long-term way to be with the man when there is no future in him whatsoever. You know he's getting locked up and or he is getting killed. But for the most part, most drug dealers are actually attractive. So that's what the fuck you go for. The attractive drug dealer. And y'all also love drama as much as women say they don't love drama. You do love the drama because women are attracted to men that other women are attracted to. If nobody else is looking at your man, you don't want that man. But the man that everyone is looking at, you're going for. The drug dealer in the hood is fucking all of you, and you guys know it. You know you're sharing him, but you're in denial and say you're not, even though you and your girlfriend are both pregnant at the same time by the same dude. You go for the top 10% of men. Top 10. You know they're no good because guess what? These are men with options. You know what men with options do? They play their options. They do exactly what they are supposed to do. Enjoy all the women that are throwing themselves at them. So those are the men that you are going for. And then the outcome of that is he doesn't treat you well. Well, guess what? He doesn't have to. He has options. When you disappear, well, there's pussy right behind you. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to fight with the next chick to prove that he's your man, even though you got rid of him for cheating on you with that man. When at the end of the day, you could actually choose a good man who actually is going to come home. See, as men, going back to equality, it's really not equal, because as true men, when the rent comes, we're going to pay it. When the mortgage comes, we're going to pay it. When the light bill comes, we're going to pay it. When insurance comes out, we're paying it. When kids need something, we're paying it. We're going to do all of those things as we're supposed to do when he is a man. So the least that you can do is keep a house clean. That's it. That's all we ask for. Keep a house clean. That's not slavery, because before you had children, the last time I checked, you kept your house clean. Anyone that lives on their own, unless they're just a dirty motherfucker, cleans their house. So that's not slavery, because you already do it. If anything, me personally, I would be happy to do it for someone that is providing for me, that has given me children. You know, we just went over one of the number one reasons for women to be happy is literally of having a family, children, and relationships. That is the number one thing that makes you happy. And I know you guys are going to come with that's not all women, because, you know, there's always the exception to the rule. Fuck the majority. Fuck statistics. Fuck what has been proven over years, over decades. Fuck that. Because my girlfriend never had kids and she was 100% happy. She didn't need none of that shit. And, oh, I'm okay just adopting. I don't need to have my own children and be married. Those things don't make sense. Stop with the nonsense. Let's go with the logic, not with your emotion. I know emotionally you're triggered and you want to sit here and you want to argue because you want to prove a point, but the point that you're proving goes totally against the logic of the actual world that we live in. Love is a beautiful thing, and the fact that we keep trying to tear love apart and take it out of not only our homes, but we're also depriving our children of this, because our children requires a father as well as a mother. You guys love to put the government in your business, but then you talk so bad about the government until you get a child support check that you swear is not enough because you need more money. Well, guess what? If you would have kept the man that you had in the first place, instead of throwing him to the streets because you said you deserved better, which you've never gotten, your kids are now 22, 23 years old, and you still don't have a man taking care of you, providing for you, or giving you this so-called life that you say you deserve. Where's this needle in a haystack nigga? He is not around because he does not exist except for in your head. You had a man that was a provider. The reason that men put children into women is because we see our future in you. That's why we put our future in you. What's that say? One of these days are blessings. It's not slavery, it's love. Taking pride in your home. Yes, taking pride in your family is a beautiful thing. Yes, drug dealers are drama, not attractive. Laugh myself, no, sir. Correct. But those are to you. To you, those people are not attractive. But to so many other women, they are. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know why. I don't know why love, relationships, and the way things are portrayed, are put out there, are looked as it's slavery, as if love is a bad thing, as if when you go to your girlfriend's house and your girlfriend's got her new man there and she's cooking dinner and she serves him a plate and you sit there and go, what are you doing that for? Why are you hating on her happiness? Because that nigga probably is the one that went out and provided that dinner that you're eating. So you're over at her house with your single ass, questioning why she's doing what she's doing for the man that makes her happy while you're miserable. The fact that that marriage is at an all-time low makes no sense whatsoever. Divorce is at an all-time high, and the average marriage lasts for 7 years. 7 years. Horrible, horrible numbers. Ladies, I dare ask you, why are you in constant competition with men? Why do you need to be an alpha woman when there's nothing alpha about you? You're supposed to be feminine. We are masculine, which is why we are supposed to be the alphas. We're natural leaders. Everything biblically speaking, Torah speaking, everything in every religion all over this world has the man as the head and the woman as the neck. That is called teamwork. Period. Our heads can't do this without a neck. It is not making you less of anything by being exactly what a man requires you to be. There is nothing wrong with allowing yourself to fall in love with a man that is willing to literally, we lay our lives on the line for you. Every woman that will see this podcast and more, you have a house that was built, an apartment that was built, an office that was built by more men's hands than anything else. It is men who created the power grid that allows your lights to be on. It is men that run the farms that take the food to the grocery stores that you eat. The stock markets, the car manufacturers, the majority of the things that you use on a daily basis, including tampons, were created by the men that you downplay and talk shit about every single day. These same men that you say are putting you in slavery because they just want a warm meal and a peaceful home after they go out and we fight with the world every single day. Women become part of a man's world. You guys come to corporate America, you call it stressful. You talk about the boys club, it's a boys club. No, it's not. You put yourself in a masculine situation to be around masculine men only to find out that it's not suitable for you because you don't have the mental fortitude to deal with the stresses of the world today that are needed to make this world run. Understandable. You are an emotional person, and we appreciate that because you know what? We have testosterone that runs through our system. And you know what? Testosterone is the number one reason I don't cry. Testosterone is the number one reason I get angry. Testosterone is the number one thing that's going to course through my veins when something happens under that roof and I have to protect you. Not estrogen, which is why you get emotional and you cry and you hide, and most you're going to cower in the closet and do everything you can to get away from danger while I'm running towards danger. That is the difference between men and women. We love confrontation. We have actually now created ourselves to be a very civilized human being when we could easily go back to our barbarian Viking days where we took men and women of every sort. If you were weaker, we took you. We killed you. We raped you. It fucking sucks. But that's who we used to be. And we now have a very civilized culture where you can literally go to a man's face and say, fuck you, and even slap him. And 9 times out of 10, if he puts his hands on you, he goes to jail. But he did nothing wrong. Again, that is not equality. That is not love. And that is not proper. Well, we got some good ones in here today. I will be 43 years old this year, and I will tell you this. I very much so believe in love. I love love. It doesn't matter how hard I may have come across to be to you. For those of you that are coming from Facebook and seeing this, You guys see a majority of my regular posts and the things that I say. Um, I believe in love. I believe in marriage. I believe in family. Unfortunately, even to this day, the family that I thought I would have, I do not. But guess what? I have the family that God gave me, and I take care of mine and do for mine as best as I possibly can, and I will live and die for mine. The woman that I marry, I will die for her. She will have whatever she wants as long as it is humanly possible. I will make sure that that happens. There is a reason that I work my ass off to do the things that I do, because at some point in time, there will be a Mrs. Bailey. I do see nothing wrong with marriage. I see nothing wrong in taking care of a woman. I see nothing wrong in protecting my woman. I see nothing wrong with me doing what I am here and meant to do. Let's see. I feel you, but at the end of the day, that's not you being alpha. That is sink or swim mode. Women truthfully don't come with an alpha mode. We are in a society where we push you to have to play alpha, but are you truly alpha? No. Because as you said, when he falls short, in the world we currently live in today, at some point in time, people are going to fall short. That is not you having to become alpha. If anything, you should be pushing your man to do better. But here's the biggest problem with the world that we live in today. You get to choose the men that you want, and usually you choose those men based off of your emotions, and emotions make bad choices. You usually go after the most beautiful looking thing. He's very appealing to the eye, and 9 times out of 10, he's slanging great dick, and that's what you fall in love with. You fall in love with this is the possibility of what he can do, as opposed to making him show what he can actually do. When a man shows you who he is, that's when you find out, which is goes back to the number one thing that a woman was supposed to give a man was her virginity, but only upon marriage. So half of the mistakes that women are making today, you would never make, because you would never be emotionally attached to a man, because the only person you would ever be emotionally attached to would be your husband. But we no longer live in those times. I think the next video I'm going to do is going to be about the promiscuous ways of the world and sexuality, and what sexuality actually is, and the difference between sexuality between men and women, because there is a huge difference between the two sexes and how we should be acting, and why we're also again in the position that we're in today. And we are sold messages that don't make sense. Cardi B will sit here and tell you be independent and do this and do that. Married. Meg the Stallion would tell you not to do this and do that and fucking nigga and do this. Not married, but in a relationship, and so far can't keep a man. City Girls. City Girls told you to get over on niggas. Having babies in relationships. Beyonce. To the left, and all the other shit, and soldiers, and all the bullshit that they sold to you. Married to Jay-Z. Not only married to Jay-Z, cheated on, still with him. Kim Kardashian. Don't even want to go there. Biggest hoe out there. Jumps around from dude to dude, but is women empowerment. No. Sorry. The women of the world that are leading this world are misleading you, because they don't even abide by the same bullshit they sell you. But you buy it. You buy it. There's a difference. Stop taking people for what they say and take people for what they do. If a man is a man, he's going to show you he's a man. I can tell you, I've been in relationships and have had plenty of relationships, where initially we started off having sex and I literally cut that shit off. And you know why I cut it off? Hold on. Correct. That is what men did back in the, but okay, look, so I'm just gonna bring up courting real quick because courting is super misconstrued. So I would love for everybody to actually pull out their phone right now, or computer, or tablet, or whatever you're on, and go to Google and type in define courting. Okay. Courting, be involved with romantically, typically with the intention of marrying. Courting means you're already actually with that person. Courting is what men did right before they married. So courting still happens today. We call it engagement. Engagement is nothing but the process of courting a woman, but it has been so misconstrued and lost in the process. Like, we have no idea what meanings of words are. We just hear them because they're buzzwords. But to know the actual meaning of the words that we use and how they should be used are two totally different things. We say things to make them fit where we're at and what we're doing, but we're misusing it. It's the same thing as deserve. All right. Go ahead and define deserve. All right. And when you read that, do something or have to show qualities worthy of reward or punishment. Okay. So a lot of you women are in horrible relationships saying that you deserve better. Well, I have news for you. You're actually living exactly what you deserve. And it sucks. And you know why it sucks? Because most of the time, you literally aren't working for what you deserve. You're sitting back half the time making a man prove himself to you while you do absolutely nothing in a relationship that requires two to be working. So when you end up in a bad relationship, you're in that relationship based off of the work ethic you put in it. Just like if you're poor and you don't make money, is because you're not working for it. And the thing about it is, we live in a world where there's plenty of opportunity, but you don't even go out to take advantage of those opportunities. You would rather just stay where you're at and complain when you could get off of your ass and do more. That's the difference. We talk about wage gap, which has been debunked years ago. There's no such thing as a wage gap. The difference is, see, a woman, and I can tell you because I'm involved and see women and talk to women on a regular basis. And you know what y'all talk about? Tulum, Puerto Rico, France, vacation, Mexico, Florida, Bahamas. Y'all are all about the vacation. You will take time off of your life, literally, to go on multiple vacations in a year that cost you money that you really don't have. Whereas a man might take a vacation, this proven, might take one vacation every 4 years and will put in more hours of overtime than any woman. So there's no wage gap. We work harder. But when we're 50, 60 years old, a man hits his stride at 38. So between 38 and 45 is when men hit their six-figure mark. And between 45 and 55 is where we become millionaires. So by the time we're 65 years old, we have our retirement. Put a woman in those shoes, it's non-existent. It's non-existent. A woman will attach herself to a man around 45 years old when she realizes she hasn't made enough money and she needs to retire soon because she's tired of working, and a man has already pretty much solidified that for her. There's a reason they say the woman moves in, the man builds and creates. But that's a whole totally different situation. My whole point of this video, at the end of the day, If you're not married, if you still believe in love, even if you don't believe in love, what I would like for you to do, if your grandparents are still alive, you need to go talk to them. If your grandparents are still alive, talk to your grandparents and get some insight on what love truly is. Get some insight on what dating truly was. Get some insight on what it takes to be a wife. Because being feminine at your discretion isn't feminine. You're either feminine or you're not. Because a man is either masculine or he's not. I can't turn off my masculinity. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, you're not giving me no sex tonight? Cool. If somebody breaks in his house, I'm not gonna protect you. But you guys will quickly turn off your femininity and use things against a man in order to get what you want. But we don't do that. We are who we are. See, the reason you want to marry a man is because a man is a man from day one. When we take you out on that first date, we're paying for it. If something were to happen, even on the first date, we're protecting you. We do what men do from day one, but we have to earn what you offer us over time. That shit's backwards as hell. The fact that you feel like you can turn your feminine on from man to man, moment to moment, is what makes zero sense whatsoever. Which is why I've posted even multiple times how stupid that sounds. It sounds utterly ridiculous when you say those things because it's ass backwards. That's the number one reason you're single. Because you think you can turn who you are on and off. No, you are who you are. And the society that we live in today has not raised wives. They raised great citizens because you pay bills and you spend a lot of money on bullshit, right? But truly ask yourself, I know 9 times out of 10 you're going to blame it. It was the dude. There's this thing called accountability. If he's a fucked up dude, you picked him. So who is at fault first? The dude or the person that picked the fucked up dude? And you're going to say, well, he played a certain role or he played a certain part and he duped me. No, he didn't. Because for the most part, you already know who you're dealing with in the first place. In the world we live in today, very few of you are dealing with strangers. Very few of you are dealing with strangers. You know who they are. And if you don't, you probably should get to know who they are. People will show their true colors very quickly. Marriage is a beautiful thing. It is not slavery. And if you feel like it is slavery, you need to take a long, hard look at what a relationship, love, and marriage is, and then look at your current life and tell me you're not already doing the exact same thing that you're going to be doing with your married. The only difference is you're going to have help. I would rather do something as two than to do it as one. Just like I'd rather do it as 3 instead of as 1, or 4 or 5 as 6. Because this is the thing. When you go to a funeral, there are 6 people carrying that fucking pine box. Everything in life is not meant to be done alone. So that independent shit that you guys talk about makes no sense. Because you don't independently turn on the lights by yourself. You didn't independently build your house. You're not independently growing your own food. You're not independently building your car and then creating oil and then putting oil and mixing it to make gasoline to do. None of those things are independent. You are 100% reliable and reliant on someone else to do everything for you. So independence actually sounds stupid because you're not doing anything on your own. You're not independently taking your ass to work, working for someone else. That is not independence. You are relying on them to pay your bills, to pay you, to get you a paycheck. Think about the things that you are saying and how it truly relates to your life, and that will show you that half of the shit that you say and half of the shit that you are living is just that. It is shit. Love is beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. Relationships are beautiful. You should start living your beautiful existence. There's no point of you being single and alone when you can absolutely have someone. The only thing that has to change is your thought process. Stop letting a fucked up society make you be a fucked up person. Because the number one reason that most men aren't dealing with you is because the personality is not there. You need to have a better personality. Makeup won't fix that. BBLs won't fix that. Surgery won't fix that. But your thought process will. With that, I want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of No Capping and All Drip. I'm your man, Bailey. AKA Mr. Go Get 'em. Look, I appreciate the fact that y'all stuck it out with me. I didn't expect this video to be an hour and 5 minutes long. But hey, if you didn't catch it from the beginning, go ahead and go to the beginning. There was a couple more things in here that I wanted to add, but they're on the phone that it's actually on. I don't know how YouTube fucked up my shit, but I'll fix it. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see y'all on the next one.